So when women over 45 are talking about this, I stopped caring, I don't care what people think, there's all this stuff that is going on with us, I believe, in our midlife. And this is why these discussions are out there about the fact that we just don't care about a lot of things. And it's not to say that we don't care about people. It's not to say, I don't care about my life. I don't care about my work. I don't care about my relationships, my pets, my home. No. It's really, I think, about the shift that is happening in midlife, which is a lot about boundaries. The deeper issues here is about boundaries. It's about visibility. It's about identity. Our identity now in midlife, what does that look like? So I think this is at the deeper, I would say the deeper part of this discussion of I don't care anymore, or that I stopped caring. And today I wanted to share with you the things that I have stopped caring about. Is now this is my birthday week. I'm turning 49, and just reflecting back on the things that I've stopped caring about, really, that they don't matter to me anymore, or maybe as much as they used to. And I would say this shift happened after I turned 45. I was not really someone, I would say I was a people pleaser. But I think I had kind of like the fear of men. The word of God talks about that you can have a fear of men, and we are only to fear God. But I think there was some kind of fear of men that I had. And for me, what that looked like is the fear that I didn't want to make people feel uncomfortable by who I was. So I showed up in places. I showed up even in my life, always trying to accommodate how people felt about who I was. As in, I made myself small. I think this is one of the biggest thing that I came to realize, that I had made myself small to accommodate other people's feelings, to accommodate other people's emotions, especially family members or even close friends, because you're made to feel like you are too much. And so you shrink and shrink and make yourself small year after year until you're like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I don't remember who this woman is. And so that was the big thing for me. One of the big things was this thing that I have made myself small. I am not showing up fully myself because I am trying to manage everybody's emotions in regards to who I was. And I had to really come to a place of like, I don't care about how people feel about me, in terms of I'm not going to go and do things that are hurtful, that are damaging to other people, in that I don't care. No, but it was more like, I don't care what they think about me, to the point that I have to stop being myself to accommodate them. So I really had to come to terms with I don't care how people feel or think about me, because I'm just here on earth. We are all here to please one person, for the audience of God, because in the end, that is what matters. What people think of you, what people expect of you, what people say, it really doesn't matter. And so I had to come to that place of, I was not going to shrink myself. I was not going to make myself small. I was not going to make myself invisible to make other people feel comfortable about themselves, because what that is about them, their own self-esteem. And if they're intimidated by me and who I am, then that is really not my issue. That is not my problem. So that is one thing that I had to stop caring, like how I made other people feel when I'm being myself, to the point that I am shrinking myself and I'm not myself anymore. So that was, I think, one of the major shifts, that I am not here to manage other people's emotions where I am concerned. And it is exhausting. And I think as women, we do this a lot. We are managing how our children feel, which is to be, you do that as a mom as they're growing up until they are, adults, and you can't be managing other adults' emotions. We are trying to make this person happy. We're trying to make this person comfortable. We're trying to make this person feel secure. We are constantly juggling other people's emotions in our heads, and trying to go out of our way to fix their stuff. And it just becomes exhausting. And I just decided, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care about adults who can go for therapy, who can go to God and get their emotions and their self-esteem, fixed. Because I was just trying to do that for everybody in my life, and I was getting exhausted. And I was also shrinking myself. So that's one of the things that I would say was a big thing to me in terms of one thing that I had to stop. And something else that I just don't care about anymore is even, I would say, the people pleasing. Though I've never considered myself to be that person, I think there are times that I've gone out of my way is and I attend events that I don't like because I'm trying to please family members. I attend things that I don't really enjoy because, a lot of things were done out of obligation. And I just come to a place that I'm not going to do anything out of obligation that I don't have to. My obligation, yes, is to my kids, my family. There are certain obligations there, but then there are people who are, out there, relatives and friends or whatever, workmates, business partners. There are a lot of things that you end up doing out of obligation, not because you really enjoy or want or like that thing. And I've just come to a place where I'm not going to do things out of obligation. I'm going to do things because I really want to, because I believe this is what God wants me to do, also because it makes me happy. Like just choosing myself. Instead of always doing things to make other people happy. Not that there's, again, not necessarily anything wrong with that, but how far do we go to make other people happy? And what are we sacrificing of ourselves in that process? And so that was I would say that people pleasing part is attending things and doing things for people, again, to make them happy. Because some of those things I really wasn't happy. And even saying yes to things when they're very inconvenient. When you should say no, and then you say yes because you feel bad, you feel guilt. There's this guilt you have towards saying no to people, especially. And a lot of this has to do with family members, I think, or even friendships, that we just can't say, no, I'm not going to do that. And just be the answer. So that's one thing that, yeah, I have to really come to a place where I'm like, I don't care. I don't care anymore, but this is my boundary. I am not going to be doing things out of obligation for anybody anymore. The other one is, of course, that, being in relationships that just drain you. So here, I'm not saying we should just ignore our family members, loved ones or friends, but there are relationships that we have in our lives that are a constant drain, where you really feel like you're almost like an emotional dumpster to people. And I know it's necessary that there are times when people need us and they need someone to talk to, and I'm all for that. And that is not going to stop. But I really had to stop just being in relationships where you feel like you're the one giving all the time. You're the one going the extra mile. You're the one for them, you're there for them, but they're not there for you. And these are just draining. And I had to stop. I think they call them performative relationships, where there's just a lot of performance on your end, and the other person is not even doing anything. And you're the one putting in all the effort and whatever is required, and you just feel drained. Or you're in a conversation with somebody, and by the end of that, you feel drained. And then you start to avoid them, because that's what happens. You start to avoid people who drain you. But I'm just at a point, I'm not going to participate in that. I want genuine relationships. I want genuine friendships. I want genuine partnership, or whatever I do, to be really sincere and to be genuine. So yeah, that is one of the things that I don't care to have those relationships in my life. And I'm not going to be pursuing any relationship like that. Okay, something else I mean, there's so many things that I just feel like you stop caring about. I would say I stopped caring what people think about my appearance. Right? And that is a big thing for us in this midlife. Once you're in, if you start getting closer to 50, like I said, it's my birthday week. I'm turning 49 this year. The fear, I don't know. I guess the caring of how we look, or even the not caring how we look, because there's that too, right? You just let go of yourself and you don't care how you look. I don't think that's healthy. But sometimes we only dress up for others, and I had to stop myself from caring what people think, to the point that I'm dressing up for them, but I don't dress up. I don't show up for myself. Like, I want to dress up for me and not for others. And if they like what I dress up for in the process, that's good. But it's really dressing up for me. So even trying to look younger, which I've never, I don't know, I don't think that's something I've ever done. I've never like felt like I had to look younger, try to look a certain age. I feel like I'm just aging very gracefully and beautifully as God has created me. So I'm not even concerned about the looking younger. And I think I dressed more. I don't know. I'll dress more for occasions and this event and that event than I would just for myself. And that I had to stop and say, I'm worthy myself, worthy of being of getting up, getting makeup, getting done, getting dressed up. And if I want to dress a certain way and that's what I feel like doing, then that's what I'm gonna do. That is really where I am now, where I am confident in who I am. I'm confident in my own skin, and I don't need to dress for anyone but myself and for God, modestly. So yeah, so that's something I had to stop caring. Like, what people think of how I dress, to the point that I'm only dressing when I'm going to functions with other people, and I'm not dressing for myself. I'm not dressing, to look good for myself. And now is, how does this make me feel? Right? I'm not going to wear the ridiculously high heels, 4-inch heels, if they make me feel uncomfortable, if I can't really walk in them just because I want to look nice. I'm going to work things that look beautiful on me, that I feel good, not just look, but that I feel good in, that I'm confident in, and not really care, especially even about the trends, like what is trending right now, but what makes me feel happy, what makes me, because I think that's where you actually get confidence, is you're confident in yourself when you feel good about yourself. So that is where I am in terms of just the outward appearance. And something that I stopped caring is I don't care to be defined, my worth, my value to be defined by what I do anymore. And I know, excuse me, years ago that I think there was that pressure, that I was so much defined by, the business that I built, the whatever things that I was doing, being a mother, being this, hustling that and this. My identity was so locked up in that. And now I'm just at a point, I'm like, I don't care. I am not defined by how much money I make. I'm not defined by the type of business that I build. I'm not defined by even the fact that, I'm a mother, or my relationships. I'm not defined by that. That my worth and my value is really what God says, and it has nothing to do with the roles that I play. So coming to that realization and just, saying, no, I am not going to allow people to define me that way. I'm not going to define myself that way, because I think that one of the greatest things, mistakes we make, is how we define ourselves. It's the most damaging, I think, is a thing we say about ourselves, that how we define ourselves, more than even what other people think or say about us. It's really how we define ourselves. So I just, at a place where I'm like, I am not going to be defined by that. My value, who I am, is more valuable than any role that I play here on earth. and I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm not going to chase any validation. I no longer care to be validated by anybody. I no longer care to try to convince anyone to like me, love me, enjoy me. No, just in a place where I don't actually care. And there is freedom to all this. There is so much freedom when you just realize I do not need anyone's validation. I do not need anyone's affirmation. I am not a child. And I'm okay with or without people's validation and affirmation towards me. And I'm okay. I don't have to prove that I'm productive. That my worth is not how productive I am. My worth is not how, how high achieving I am. And I think as someone who's ambitious, for women like me out there, if you're a high achieving person, you're ambitious and all this stuff, we fall into this thing a lot, into just this hustle and overwork and trying to prove our worth and our value in that manner. And I just don't care. I don't care to prove myself to anyone. I don't care to answer to anybody, really, apart from God. That I do not owe anyone any explanation about any decisions that I've made, that I'm making. And I'd say this is one of the things too that I just stopped caring about is people accepting my decisions and the things that I do. That I'm just at a point I don't care to explain my decisions. I don't care for those decisions to be accepted by people. The person that I care about is God and his opinion and whether what I'm doing is right or wrong. But really other people, to where your decision making is affected because of what somebody else will think or how they'll take it, I just don't care. I don't care to explain myself. And this is a big one for me. Like, I do not have to explain myself to anybody. I don't have to explain my actions. I do not have to explain why I've made that decision or why I feel this way. It's just take me as I am or leave me. That's kind of where I am. And this is not, with anger or hate or anything. It's just, you just come to a place where you're just exhausted with all this. And you don't realize how exhausted you are until I think it hits you right around this age. After 45, it's like, yeah, I'm just done. I'm just done. Something else that I do not care about or care to carry is guilt. Guilt over, or even regret over my past. Guilt over the decisions that I've made or mistakes that I've made. Guilt over disappointing people. This is the big one. It's like we feel so much guilt that we're disappointing people. And when you look at all this, people in general are just selfish. People are self-absorbed. And I think this realization that people are self-absorbed, including myself, including you, it helps us realize people don't care. So why do we care? Right? Because people are doing what is in their own best interest. A lot of times we are all chasing what we believe to be in our best interest. And, yeah, we should. That's human nature. But then the problem I think with us women, especially in midlife, is that we carry so much guilt for disappointing people who are also very much self-absorbed and seeking their own selfish lives, living their lives the way they want. We get preoccupied with, that we don't want to disappoint this person. Again, we're not out there trying to hurt people and go out of our way to hurt people. No, but there's a big difference between hurting people purposely and disappointing. And we can live our lives just feeling guilty for any disappointment we've caused people in our lives. And a lot of times there are certain things that you can't control people's emotions. So the disappointment they might be feeling is maybe just to their own selfish, nature and selfish desires, that you are not fulfilling that for them. Therefore, they get disappointed. And then we turn around and we are guilty. We feel guilty. We feel burdened by this. So I am not. That is a decision. I'm not going to feel guilty about disappointing people, especially when I've not done anything wrong. They just don't accept, the things that the decisions that I've made, or the choices that I've made in regards to certain things. I just said I stopped caring. I will not be carrying any guilt. I will not be carrying anything out of obligation. Um, I just stopped. And it does sound selfish, but I think this is how you put the boundaries I was talking about in our lives. When we come to a place when we just make that decision that I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care to try to manage someone else's emotion. I'm not going to care to try to manage someone else's self-esteem. I'm not going to care to try to manage other people's opinions about them. It's like putting yourself in somebody's head and trying to control that. I'm not. Again, I am living my life for an audience of one, and that is God. If I'm pleasing to Him, that is really all that I should be concerned about. And that's all you should be concerned about. So these are some of the things that I have stopped caring about. Like, I just don't care. I am trying to live what is left of my life the best way that I can, and really designing my life to a way that is pleasing to God, to a way that it makes me happy, that I'm fulfilling my purpose, that I am doing what I was sent here to do. And when we carry all these things that we care about that we really shouldn't care about, I think we hinder ourselves. We make ourselves small, we make ourselves shrink. We are not going after what or the purposes of why we are here. So, what are the things in your life that you have stopped caring about? Or are you still trying to be a people pleaser? Are you going out of your way, trying to be nice at your own expense? Are you managing other people's emotions? Are you caring too much what people think of you? Are you shrinking yourself, trying to accommodate and make other people feel comfortable? What are the things that you should probably stop caring about, especially in midlife? So I'd love for you to share in the comments what those things are. Let's talk about the things that we're all facing in this second chapter of our lives. And share with me, tell me what are the things that you have stopped caring about, or if you're struggling and you like to stop caring about some things, share in the comments and I'll be sure to respond. But this is what I wanted to share with you. And if you're new here, my name is Janet. This is the Second Act Collective, and I'll see you next time. Bye.